Good morning, all. A couple things I want to share with you. Let's test some audio. Beautiful. We're having a good morning. In recent events, so just came back from a boot camp we have here on Canon. And I'm telling you, there's something comparable to PTSD that I experienced this morning. Just going through a base boot camp, workout, what have you. It wasn't nothing over the top, but it was a different workout that I'm used to doing. I usually do compound lifts and bodybuilding style workouts, powerlifting, dynamics in terms of 5x5. But goodness, like that, it's the simplest movements done over and over again, at high repetition and high volume, and for time. I'm telling you, it's different. So definitely enjoyed that this morning. I'll be doing that probably every morning. Obviously, I skipped spin class, and so I'll probably be trading that in for spin class for the time being. Just want to see what I can do. I had some carbs this morning, had some oatmeal, and so just kind of changing things up. It's been a minute since I've been using carbs properly, so we'll see. But great workout this morning. We did a lot of lower body movements in terms of lunges and burpees. Goodness gracious, I hate burpees with all my heart. We did a lot of things, but yeah, great workout this morning. And yeah, now I have more time in the mornings to do my live streams, and I'm doing laundry also, and just kind of taking my time. So I'm definitely enjoying, having my mornings back more or less, because spin class was definitely kind of throwing a wrench into my morning schedule. So I kind of like this. So we'll see how this goes. But I want to talk to you about a couple things before we get to the topic of the video. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Prince Green says cross training to fire protection. We'll get into that in a second. We won't be doing that, by the way. There's no time. You understand? There's no time for that. So we can't have that. In sports news, the Suns are going to the Western Conference Finals. Who would have thought? I must say, I underestimated Chris Paul this season. Was not expecting him to make this type of noise, especially in the postseason. It's different. First of all, happy for Devin Booker to get his finally. Ayton finally, getting his feet wet in the NBA, but he's also making some noise as well, doing his job. And one thing you don't really notice is that the format of the Suns, the layout, the dynamic, it's different than the rest of the NBA. A ball-dominant point guard who's pass first, a shooting guard who shoots, and a big man in the paint. This is the NBA of the last generation. This is Kobe's NBA. This is Michael Jordan's style. Whereas now we have, LeBron bringing the ball up, Giannis bringing the ball up, all these big men who are point forwards, the Kawhi Leonards and what have you. It's a majorly different NBA today, where all the point guards are shoot first. All the point guards are pulling up from 30 and not even thinking about passing the ball. No, it didn't even occur to them. Assist? No. We have big men like Jokic, the MVP of this season, who averages more assists than Rondo, Kyrie, not Kawhi, but like Steph Curry, who's at home. So it's a very different NBA, but to see that old format of pass first point guard, shooting guard, and a big man, obviously like the three just kind of filling in the gaps. It's nice to see again. It's nice. It reminds me of Kobe. I miss my man Kobe. I miss him. But yeah, happy for the Suns. I'm not a huge fan of Chris Paul. I always have debates, in the office, as far as Chris Paul or Russ. I'm like, Russ's numbers are just, you can't touch them. You can't touch his numbers. Yes, you got to account for the turnovers, and he's not turning the ball over that much. You might think he probably turned the ball over more than any other point guard, but you can't stand up to his numbers. His assists will blow out anybody. His rebounds will blow out anybody, and he will lead the league in scoring. He has scoring titles. Chris Paul has no scoring titles. Chris Paul has never led a team in rebounding. So there's really no argument there as far as numbers wise. But also in resume is where you have to account for, why Chris Paul has been kind of underrated as of late is because where has he been in the postseason? This is his first Western Conference Finals, his first conference finals that I'm aware of. And so hopefully he makes the best of it because I don't think he's going to get another chance after this. So hopefully he makes some noise. I mean, he's been doing amazing this season. The Suns are a team to be reckoned with, this postseason. But that's the Western Conference. Hopefully we see what the Clippers do with their second chance and their third and the fourth and the fifth chance. They're constantly getting chance after chance. Hope they make some noise finally. Like, you're the dustiest team in LA. Lakers not playing this year. Do something with it. So we'll see. Obviously, we got to talk about the Bucks and the Knicks. I was highly anticipating this series, and you see Giannis has returned, the Dark Knight, if you will. I want Giannis to get his this season. As much as I love the Nets, big fan of Kyrie, KD, James Harden, big fan of the Nets, big fan of Blake Griffin. I follow a lot of players, but I'm a Lakers fan at heart, pre-LeBron. But I'm still a fan of a lot of players. But Russ and Giannis among my two favorite players that are currently playing. But I want Giannis to get his this season. He has that Mamba mentality that we've always spoke of in high regard. And so hopefully he can make the best of this. The series is tied up with the team that you're not supposed to be even contending with. KD's left by himself thanks to the unfortunate Kyrie injury. Hopefully that is not something substantial and, doesn't continue on. But it's something you have to pay attention to. KD's by himself now. Two of his pillars are gone. How do you build a foundation on a single player who's supposed to be, now he's pretty much playing one-on-one with Giannis. He has a supporting cast. So it's not like the Nets aren't deep. He has help. But can you go toe-to-toe with Giannis back and forth, which you can't guard Giannis in the paint. So unless Giannis is just pulling up for threes for no reason, that's really his only chance. So we'll see how that goes. I'm rooting for either one because honestly, LeBron's not in the playoffs, so I'm happy either way. I don't care who wins at this point, but I would prefer Giannis get his. I want KD to get his. I want James Harden to get one. We'll see. But very interesting turn of events in this year's postseason. And to the topic at hand, and matter of fact, before we can get into that, we have to talk about whether or not KD can even carry his team by himself. This is going to be one of his, I would dare say this is KD's first opportunity to carry a team by himself in the postseason. By himself. No Russ. No James Harden. No Kyrie. No Steph Curry. No Klay Thompson. No Draymond Green. You have a Blake Griffin who probably has warrants in Detroit, honestly. Matter of fact, we got to talk about that real quick. Does Blake Griffin have warrants in Detroit? Brett, I can't think of anything more criminal than the way Blake Griffin is currently playing juxtaposed to the way he played in Detroit. That's unacceptable, Brett. How do you do that, Brett? There has to be something in your contract that says you must posterize somebody at least once per game. And you don't dunk the ball in a couple of years? That's ridiculous. There has to be warrants for Blake Griffin currently. I hope he will turn himself in. Maybe his agent can reach out to Detroit and get a plea agreement, something in place, sign on dotted line, something to kind of get some grace and mercy on his behalf. But I don't understand how Blake Griffin has gotten away with this, bruh. In today's league, where all it takes is really one mistake to get blackballed from professional sports, you go multiple years without dunking when that's your signature. That you've been stereotyped into that box. You dunk on people and in their careers. You don't dunk at all while you're in Detroit. Then you get traded and all of a sudden you're different. You catching bodies. Giannis met you upstairs and you met him upstairs and you told him about himself. That's crazy to me. But anyway, hopefully Blake Griffin can turn himself in and be an honorable man in this season and not end things this way. But I'm happy to see Blake Griffin back. Blake Griffin is good for the NBA. Posterizers are good for the NBA. People that need to know to stop jumping. Just because you're tall does not mean you should jump with certain people. And some people will never learn that you don't jump with certain people. Anyway, shout out to Blake Griffin. Shout out to Detroit, the team that nobody wants to ever. Shut the old Pistons, Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed and Ben Wallace. Good old days. Good old days. But yeah, back to KD. Can KD carry a team by himself? Again, he's without Chris Paul. Did he play Chris Paul? No. He's without Russ. He's without Steph. He's without Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, all the names. Kyrie, James Harden, he's by himself. He has a supporting cast. He has some role players, but he's by himself. This is the opportunity for him to end the conversation that he can't carry a team by himself. This is an opportunity for him to end the conversation that he needs training wheels from All-Stars. You know, because as much as I dislike LeBron, he carried the Cavs by himself. Like he birthed every player on that team from day one. He breastfed every player on his team until they were fully grown adults, and then they got put out the league because they're irrelevant without him. You know, so this is KD's opportunity right here to like, bruh, put the team on your back. We need at least 40 or 50 from you. You got to put some assists with it because scoring by yourself is not going to win. Giannis tried already. You're going to need to put some assists. You know, you already get the rebounds. You got some defense. Obviously, everybody knows that you can score from 30, from anywhere. But at some point, you're going to need some assists. You got to get your team involved, get them going. But hopefully, KD's up to the challenge. I mean, it's him versus Giannis. He has every advantage in the book, minus the physical gifts that Giannis has. But Giannis had to work for those. He was in the gym, feeding his family, moving weights, heavy. So this is KD's opportunity right here. We'll see. We'll see if he's up to the challenge. If I had to put my money on it, I would, I don't know. It would seem that the Bucks have a huge momentum boost, that the series is tied up once they were just down 2-0. And like now that they've tied the series, they need 2 games. 2 games. Some could argue Giannis was an MVP caliber player during the regular season. If they can just neutralize KD, or you're not going to do that, but if you can slow him down and then get your team going, I don't know. It'd be a great series. So I'm going to get to this topic real quick. The topic of this video, my Crosstrain window opens July 1st. Did some reading up on, the regulations concerning cross-training, retraining, semantics. Apparently, my cross-train window opens the first day of the month that I'm eligible to cross-train, which will be 59 months from the day I joined the Air Force. This is why I tell people to sign 4-year contracts, because if you would sign a 4-year contract, you will cross-train in 24 months. That's 2 years. 2 years. If you sign a 6-year contract, you're cross-training in 59 months. That's pretty much 4.5, 5 years from the day you come in the military. That means you're pretty much doing a whole entire contract in the career field that you come in. This is why I tell people, do not sign a contract based on bonuses, based on anything that doesn't have to do with day-to-day life and your future as relates to who you are, what you would like to be doing, the career field that you're passionate about, that you've researched properly, that you have proper context on. Do not sign contracts based off money. Promoting early, that's money, because all it does is add responsibilities with diminishing returns, essentially, as it relates to money. So I'm excited. I'm still nervous. And again, I always approach new chapters of my life with great caution, because it's hard to, I don't like getting my hopes up. And I must call it what it is. It's fear. It's fear. I don't like getting my hopes up because I don't like to have broken expectations. And so I have to move cautiously. Shout out to one of my troops. Her cross-train just got approved. She's entering 1 Charlie something. I think 1 Charlie 6. I don't know what it is. It's some fancy job that she just got approved for, and her class dates start July as well. So shout out to her. I'll be leaning on her heavily to see what she did and all the processes she went through. But yeah, that's one of my troops. Shout out, old girl. I ain't gonna say her name. But I'm happy for her. Very quiet, very competent, does her job. So shout out to her. But yeah, I'll be leaning on her to kind of see what she went through and, the POCs that she has in her phone book as it relates to the career field manager and what have you. But I'm happy for her. But yeah, I'm excited to be cross-training. A lot of you guys already know I'm hoping to look into getting Loadmaster. No guarantees. There's something called a career job advisory, something of that nature. I don't want to get the terminology wrong. I probably did already. But it's something about a career job advisor. It basically tells you what jobs they need you to cross-train into. So again, and I constantly tell people there's no guarantees at all as it relates to coming into the military. There's none. You're volunteering. Even to cross-train, you're volunteering to cross-train. Even to stay in and re-enlist or extend, you're volunteering to do so. So that means whatever they need you to accomplish, that's what they'll be placing on your table first. This is the options you have right here. So Loadmaster, as far as I've checked in the past couple of weeks, is not on the advisory list in terms of jobs I can cross-train into. We'll see. I'll talk to the career services advisor. I'll read up on some regulations, go talk to personnel, get more in depth in terms of what actually my options are. But that's what I'm looking ahead to. I am so grateful to have passed this 59 months. It's been turbulent as hell. It's been an eternity. 59 months of waiting to get out of a job that I don't want to be in. But you got to do what you got to do. And a lot of you who are coming to the military who have not planned ahead for this type of mindset, as far as you want a certain job, you've planned to get a certain job, you've researched a certain job, and then you come and get a different job. What do? You're about to cross-train and you're hoping to get this certain specific job, and you may not get it. I have plenty of backups, trust me. I've been networking this last 59 months, these last 4.5 years. I've been researching and networking and talking to people and observing and seeing what people actually do versus what the Air Force website will tell you versus what you think services does and what they actually do. I've been researching. So one job I did see on the list was vehicle ground operations. Easy money. I'll take it. Driving a vehicle. You just check out. I'm not doing no math calculations. I'm not trying to figure out Excel sheets. You're figuring out how to get from point A to point B safely. So I'm looking forward to the Crosstrain Window opening. I'm grateful. I'm grateful again to my past leadership, present leadership. I'm not going to say at all that's been perfect in my career up to this point. It's been a lot of challenges, even currently dealing with challenges in the office where I'm digging deep. I'm doing the best I can with what I have available to me, using all my benefits, using all my resources. And that's really what it comes down to, is that the military is not a resource-rich environment for no reason. It's intended to be so. They're planning on you having turbulence. They're planning on you having some struggles, and they're hoping that you'll be resourceful enough to realize, all right, I have all these resources available to me. What can I use? What haven't I used? What options are available to me that I have not even considered? And so that's really where you should be starting at in terms of your mindset. Let's see who's in the chat. I just saw my boy JJ, my arch nemesis, my youngin'. See you, bro. It's been a minute, man. You still in Clarksville, bro? We gotta talk, bro. We already talked to Prince Green this morning. I see you, bro. Appreciate you joining the chat. Anthony Brown, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Got a couple questions in here. Let's see what time it is. I think we got a little time. 6:30. Nora asked, hey, bro, I have a question about the Air Force. I'm hopefully going to be joining soon here in 8 months. But my question is about the ASVAB test. Is it more difficult than the U.S. Marine Corps test? If you're referring to the ASVAB, it's going to be, if not the same, it's going to be quite similar. Again, I've never taken the Marine Corps test. I would imagine it's the same ASVAB for the DOD, as it relates to the military. So to answer your question simply, I would perceive it to be the same. Don't hold me to that because, again, I don't know. I'm Air Force. So there are a lot of things about the Marine Corps that I can only perceive, I can only observe from a distance. And then the rest of it, I just kind of try to fill in the gaps with other videos I've watched. And, basic training is the same concept in terms of they want your mind, but the Marine Corps wants everything. They want your mind, your body, your family, your dog, your draws, everything. Whereas the Air Force is like, give us your mind. We'll take a little bit of your body. We'll take a little bit of this over here. And then they move on from there. So hopefully that helps. But again, plan for every test the same way. Plan as if you're going to take it once, and that's it. So obviously count your minutes in terms of how much you're studying. The Air Force, you count your minutes. If you keep failing a test, I constantly get the question of what do I do when I constantly keep failing the same test over and over again? ASVAB test, whatever. Keep failing the staff sergeant test, whatever. How many minutes are you studying? Non-distracted. How many minutes are you studying in the 24-hour period that you have given to you? That usually answers your question in terms of whether or not you need a tutor, whether or not you're not being disciplined enough, whether or not you're not planning your day out properly. So hopefully that helps, brings a little context. Little doggy asks, so what are your plans with the GI Bill? Don't know. As it relates to college, I don't really care, which I should, but I don't. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I would not cap on this live stream and tell you that I'm just excited to go sit at somebody's desk and be educated and write a 10-page paper on whatever, and then this is due, and then this is due, and nah. As it relates to the CCAF, I probably approach that with CLEPS, but as it relates to just getting a degree, no. So that's the evolving answer in terms of how I'll be pursuing that, but we'll see how that goes. Little dog asks, yeah, curious how long you should study for the ASVAB. That's going to be a relative. I made a video on that as relates. I believe I was walking on the beach when I made a video on how long you should study for the ASVAB. So hopefully that's still up. I don't think I took it down, but it should still be up. Just look for a video of me walking on the beach. The title is something close to I keep failing the ASVAB or I can't pass the ASVAB. The answer to that question is something you have to come up with. If you keep failing, if you want 100 or you want a 90% on a given test, your effort determines how close you get to that. Some people don't need to study at all, and then they get the end result they want. Some people have to study endlessly. Some people have to study like me, an hour a day, every single day, weekends, holidays, work days, doesn't matter, work. So it really is something you have to determine for yourself. Practice tests are a great gauge on where you are. The ability to retain information is a great gauge on where you are. So that's something that you have to kind of measure for yourself. It starts with discipline. So use your end goal that you desire, meaning if you want to pass this peacefully, meaning you want to show up to the test without worrying and not stressing, and you're not cramming the night before. You want to show up to a test and just kind of pass it. That's determined by how much you prepare for it, how much you plan for it. So there's not a direct answer for your question, unfortunately. So hope that helps. Mendoza is in the Army. Been watching your videos since before I joined the Army. Appreciate you. Hey, much love, man. Thank you. Little doggy in here, greedy as hell. Opinions on using the GI Bill for flight training? Not a clue. Not a clue, little doggy. Little doggy, what's your plan for the military going forward? So again, my ultimate goal was to be a load master, to be in a flying FSC essentially. And so that's my ultimate goal currently, but long-term to retire, to get the guaranteed retirement, more or less. So that's what I'm working towards. If I don't get that, if I find something else or something better, I will move on to that. But yeah, my current goal, short-term, cross-train, long-term, retirement. So we'll see how that goes. Great question. I'm trying to move through these quickly so we can get to everybody. Andrew's in the chat, see you. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. It's Monday morning. I'm tired, but it's necessary. You understand. I see my boy Matt in the chat, see you. Andrew, I am finance station and AFSOC. All right, so yeah, appreciate everybody joining the chat. Yeah, Crosstrain Window coming up. I'm grateful. I'm excited. We'll see how things go. Of course, I'll be documenting as I go. Won't be talking too much in detail because, again, I don't like having things too kind of out there where I'm just talking too much. And then kind of, if I exceed my own expectations, now I'm sitting here disappointed and upset and pissed. And so I like to move cautiously and just kind of prepare the best I can. PT test next month. And so I have to plan for that as well. That's probably going to be something that is a non-negotiable. You got to pass PT test. So hence the morning, switching the workouts up and, getting more cardio in, more body weight cardio, not just spin class or, machines, but actually feeling gravity pull upon your person. It's different. So appreciate y'all. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I can keep up with these morning live streams as I switch my morning workout and morning routine up a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But again, appreciate everyone for your support.